I caught my roommate hiding under my bed. Moving in with Carl almost a year ago was mostly about convenience. We weren't close, just two people looking for a place at the same time. The apartment was decent, the rent was affordable, and we seemed to get along well enough. But I never expected things to take such a strange turn. A few months into living together, Carl told me he was pansexual. I didn't mind. I was happy he felt comfortable sharing that. We didn't talk about dating or anything that personal, so when he asked me if I'd ever thought about experimenting with men, I was a little caught off guard. I answered, "Not really," trying to be polite. But the question made me uneasy. Still, I thought maybe he was just testing the waters for a friendly, casual chat, so I brushed it off and figured we'd leave it at that. But last night, at 3:00 a.m., things took a turn I couldn't have anticipated. I woke up feeling strangely uneasy, like something was off in the room. I stayed still, listening, and soon heard a faint noise coming from under my bed. I figured it had to be a rat or maybe something rolling around on the floor. But curiosity won out, so I leaned over and looked. To my horror, I saw Carl's eyes staring back at me from under the bed. We both screamed. He scrambled out from under there, stammering out apologies, but I was too shocked to process what was happening. I just bolted out of the apartment in my pajamas, running across the street to the only place open, a 24-hour Dunkin' Donuts. I must have looked like a mess sitting there, heart pounding, trying to wrap my head around what I'd just seen. As I sat there, my phone buzzed. Carl was texting, saying how sorry he was and trying to explain himself. His messages were bizarre. He confessed that he'd been sleeping under my bed a few nights a week for months. His reason? He said he wanted to feel closer to me, to saturate my presence physically, whatever that means. I felt a chill reading those words. Sleeping under my bed without me knowing wasn't just creepy. It felt like a total invasion of my space, my privacy, and my trust. I waited until I knew he'd left for work, then went back to the apartment. I packed up everything I could fit into a couple of bags and left. Our lease was up in a month, so I knew I wouldn't be tied to that place for much longer. In the meantime, I decided to crash with a friend. I didn't even leave a note for Carl. I just couldn't stand the thought of staying under the same roof after what I'd learned. Some of our mutual friends heard what happened, and surprisingly, a few suggested I was overreacting. They insisted Carl was just sensitive, and that maybe I could talk it out with him, give him another chance. But hiding under my bed for months? That goes beyond being sensitive, it's disturbingly invasive. I told them if Carl tried contacting me again, I'd consider a restraining order. Even now, just thinking about it unsettles me. I don't know what Carl's real intentions were, and honestly, I'm not sure I want to know. All I know is that I'm glad I trusted my instincts and got out of there when I did. Some boundaries just can't be crossed without consequences.